Supply decisions again. And this time around we look at revenue. Last time we looked at costs, the behavior of costs in the short run. We start looking at the short run behavior of revenues this time around. But let's do a quick recap of what we did last time so that we are in the same group. Right. We defined short run, the term short run last time. And we actually said that there is no definition one to this. I mean, we don't know exact short run for each term. Each term should have their own short run, and it's quite unique to each term. For example, farmers, what's their short run? How long do you think farmers' short run is? In terms of time period, just yes, a month, 2, 3 years, yes, 1 year. Okay, give us a reason for why you think
That's one crop cycle.
one crop cycle. Okay, in my mind I have these cattle farms, sorry, yes.
Okay.
Well, yes, exactly. It's one crop cycle, they will get that plot of land, and they have to basically start operations. Growing operations as soon as possible before the season ends, right? By the next season it should grow and then they should meet the demand, right? So one crop cycle exactly, how is things happening. But for the next, in the long run, however, they could buy the next plot of land, expand the land. Yeah? Now, for other farmers, right, the same thing happens. They need to build expansions, extensions to their stables or the area where they keep their animals, not necessarily stables. Okay. Theoretically, what's the definition of short run? What's the definition of short run? What did we say the definition is? For example, you sit in the test and then you see define short run and give an example. What would you do? So farmer would be a good example, but then how would you define it? Ms. Martha? Short run is a period of time within which at least one input is fixed, but everything else is varying. Yeah? So like having a land, fixed input, and adding more labor leads to what? What's the end result? Ultimately, we face the diminishing marginal return. Yeah? First person can do well, second, third, fourth labor grow very well, but then if you add more and more, they just get into each other's way. Yeah? The same with tractor. For example, a farmer having one tractor, one driver fine, they can drive. Second driver, okay, replacement, or cow driver. Third driver is just useless, right? Again, it's just we're paying labor, we're just employing them sitting there and just employing as a reserve driver, tractor driver. Yeah? So the fixed inputs are fixed in the short run. In other words, some inputs are fixed, but we can vary others. And then, with this in mind, we can face the diminishing returns to the additional labor or additional inputs. However, in the long run, we said we don't have. What did we say, by the way? Tell me. What happens to the costs in the long run? What's the nature of costs? What type of costs vary and what type do not vary? So this topic will be more like essay-based questions on the test. So what did we say about the long run costs? How do they behave? Yeah.
Nothing is fixed. Everything is variable.
Yeah, in the long run everything is variable. In the long run we can increase the number of machines, the amount of land we have, we can purchase in the long run. In 10 years time, in the short run maybe a year, but farmer could buy more and more over time. So nothing is fixed basically in the long run. Everything is variable. All inputs are variable. As a result, costs are variable as well in the long run. Okay, now we look at the short run revenues as a starting point, and we know the definitions of total revenue. That's price times quantity. Average revenue is total revenue over quantity. And marginal revenue is the amount of money we gain by selling the extra unit. So that's marginal revenue. The revenue we gain or derive from selling the next unit. Marginal revenue. And the formula is change in revenue over change in quantity. Now, what happens to the... I think I have some extra information here that I don't want to show in this slide, so I'll edit it out. So I shouldn't go further down explaining. So it's in the next slide. Now, let's see how revenue curves behave in graphs. That's the best way we can judge the behavior of graphs. We could have tables and other things, but graphs are the most useful tools in economics to describe the concepts and how they apply in the real world. Now, the way total revenue or average revenue or marginal revenue behaves really depends on the market structure. The market structure, when I talk about market structure, it's the way markets are organized. So some markets are very competitive. In some markets you see oligopolists. In some markets you see monopoly. So when they are very competitive, there will be a lot of firms producing more or less the same products. When they are oligopoly markets, there will be 2 or 3 large firms, small number of large firms, and a lot of small firms, like grocery or retail business. Think of retail. You have large firms like Tesco, Sainsbury's, Morrison's, Asda, and then millions of corner stores, small shops. So these are oligopolies. The top businesses, the largest firms, are called oligopolists. They control, they exert power, they exert influence on the market. Then you have a monopoly. There is only one firm in the market. Do we have monopoly in the UK?
British Gas. The railways.
Railways. These are actually used to be monopolies.
Railways are this.
Railways used to be. Now Labour wants to nationalize them and make them monopoly again. You mean rail operators?
Yeah.
Yes. Rail operators are very competitive now.
Also the
Used to be only British Rail in 70s and 80s, but then came Conservatives, the Margaret Thatcher. She just sold the licenses to rail operators, and now you have quite a competitive pricing. But then, if you look at the route, some of the routes, in some of the routes, 1 or 2 companies are monopoly. But in general, they are actually trying to stimulate competition, improve quality, and things like this. So it's a big debate now in politics and in economics whether nationalizing British Rail again, in other words, instead of giving Virgin Trains, what do you call it? Virgin Trains or what? A company name. Instead of giving Virgin one license and the Southern Trains another one, Southwestern another one, National Rail another one, or Overground another one, TfL another one, they want to bring them all into one controlling firm and run it as one company. And then Devin Corbyn is just making a case for that now. Because maybe if we had the monopoly, one firm controlling, we would manage it better, and then we would see the chaos that Southern caused recently, in the southern part of England. So that's a case now being debated now. But conservatives like competition, so they split the company into several companies. Similarly, BT, British Telecom, it used to be one telecommunications provider, but now you have broadband providers, which are actually similar to that. They still use the fixed lines, BT's fixed lines. So in Britain, there is no monopoly, basically, except for NHS, monopolizing the hospitals, healthcare. NHS is monopolizing the hospital. Even then, some of the services are provided by private companies. Not like in America, where you have plenty of healthcare companies, private healthcare companies. And prison services are monopoly in the UK, except for security guards who supply the security companies supplying prison guards. The whole business is actually government control. Anyway, so these market structures determine, guys, you need to see separate. If you keep talking, you need to read this. Maybe now, better now, because I think you'll forget again that I'm talking teaching. Yeah? It's the last warning, so otherwise you're welcome to leave. And talk outside and come back. Okay, so the behavior of firms depends on how competitive the business is, firm is. So the market is. Now let's assume that there are many firms in the industry. Like we have in the UK now, in capitalism, there is no dominant business. Usually capitalists want one share of business. Not like North Korea now, where you have government providing all the services and struggling to do that actually in a best way. Okay, let's assume that the firm is a price taker. What does it mean? Price taker is a special term for perfect competition. But we just start. Let's borrow that term. We start discussion of competitive rather than perfectly competitive industry. Let's think of just competitive firms who take the price as given and then sell the quantities of goods at that price. Do we in real life have that sort of firm or that sort of industry where firms are price takers? Can you name an industry? Think about an industry where firms do not have influence over the price. You cannot influence the price. Relative to the whole market, they are a very small player. You can think of other countries if you want, as a whole, as a whole, in the world. What firms do you think they do not usually affect the prices? Think of oil companies. They produce and sell at the market prices, right? They won't affect the price of, except for Saudi Arabia. You can ignore those countries. There's a huge countries with the huge oil reserves. They could really affect the prices by increasing supply. But on their own, firms in capitalist world, BP, Shell, many others, ExxonMobil, Mobil, many other oil firms, they do not affect the price of petroleum. They sell at the price. That's market term. So that's the case here. So let's think of that one. And also farmers, grain providers, grain suppliers. They sell at market prices. All commodity producers, steel, gold, they won't be able to affect the prices by their supply decisions and quantity. They just take the price as given. So for example, think of this as the market demand and market supply. Some of all the suppliers at different prices, some of all the demand at different prices, for example. Then the equilibrium price is the market price at which firms trade. Now, the firms will have their own supply curve and demand curve. Because we said we focus exclusively on, mainly on supply now, demand. Because we said firm is a price taker, firm is only able to sell at PE any quantity. You see, price doesn't move. It's a straight line. This is demand curve, horizontal demand curve. At this price, it's fixed. And they can sell as many as they want as a firm. Obviously, for market demand curve will be downward sloping. But the firm faces horizontal demand curve. That's because they cannot control the price. They cannot raise the price. If they do, buyers will move to other companies because there are plenty of them. Plenty of companies that are supplying this more or less identical product. So the slight increase in price, quick switch to other customers. Think of restaurants. So many of them. See the price, 10% on top of the original price, you just go to another restaurant. Very competitive, isn't it? Takeaways. Especially today when you have these Uber Eats and all others. You look at the prices and switch very quickly. So they face this sort of market prices. And they sell at that price as many quantities as they could. And as a result, demand is actually average revenue curve. Demand curve is not average revenue curve. And it is also the marginal revenue curve. Remember what we said about marginal revenue. It's the additional revenue from sale of additional unit. So each additional unit that we sell brings us exactly the same revenue, marginal revenue, regardless of the quantity, which is also the same as average revenue, which is revenue over quantities. And price, so this is also the price line. So the three terms are equal. Price, average revenue, margin revenue, they make up the demand curve. This is only for competitive firms. The market is populated by a large number of firms that just take the price as given. Any question on this? The next type of market we look at will be a bit tricky. By the way, how about total revenue now? How does it look? The total revenue. Shh. Abdul, what are you doing? Yeah, are you watching something? Are you? You need to focus. You need to focus on the bus. Not nice, is it? Okay. The revenue now, what's this? We have the quantities increasing, but the price is fixed. As a result, the total revenue is a linear function, linear curve, a line originating from point 0. That's because when you don't sell, you don't receive any revenue. But at that given price, because of straight line at 0.5, we can set any quantity, which then increases our revenue at the same rate. So in other words, we don't expect to make any deals or promotions, to do any deals and promotions. We sell at that price. Because it's so competitive, no one wants to reduce the prices and also no one wants to raise it. Reducing prices is good. Customers come in, but then you reduce your profitability. Yeah? By reducing, giving discount. So marginal difference. So we sell at that price and then derive that line, linear fashion revenue. Next, what if the firm is not price taker but is more like price maker, is able to sell at lower prices or higher prices? So the firm has, relative to the market, higher presence in the market, like has some influence on the market price. They can decide what price to charge and what quantity to sell. We call them oligopolists usually, like large firms, or monopolistically competitive firms as well. Then the three curves will be different. They won't be constant, and they aren't equal as well. Here is an example. Price is average revenue. That implies it must be the demand curve, because remember, price is determined by the demand and supply decisions, yeah? At different quantities, we have different prices. So the average curve, average revenue becomes the price again in this case. Units we sell are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Then at different prices, you can see that quantities are increasing. So quantities are increasing as the prices are declining. So this is a demand curve. Total revenue is then the product of price and quantity. And marginal revenue is now, you know what it is, yeah? The difference between the first unit sold and the last unit, last quantity. So marginal revenue is 14 minus 8 for the first unit. For the subsequent units, again, you subtract the total revenue. Today's total revenue from yesterday's, for example, or when you sell 3 units, your total revenue is 18, but when you sell 2 units, your total revenue is 14. The difference gives us marginal revenue 4. Notice that marginal revenue is not constant now. You see, in the previous graph, it was constant. Now it's declining and bottoming out and then increasing. Yeah? It's first increasing. It starts with a high level, but slowly declines. It's not actually a curve, it's a line. I'm sorry. I'm just confusing with the costs again. Alright, so with the total revenue, you could see that total revenue increasing up to a certain unit, but then declining again. It goes up and comes down. So let's graph it. The best way to talk about these is by graphing them. So let's graph average revenue first. That's average revenue, which is also the demand curve. At different prices, we will receive different quantities, demand for different quantities. And you have that little box over there to the right. That shows the numbers again, just to keep us informed. And this is our marginal revenue curve. Notice that downward sloping demand, companies that face downward sloping demand usually will have marginal revenue on a steeper slope. Yeah? The slope here is larger. That's because to sell additional units, we have to reduce the prices. Yeah, additional units have to be sold at low prices. So marginal revenue will be lower. But in the original case, to sell the additional units, you don't have to reduce the prices. You sell at the same price, additional units. So the marginal revenue will be the same at any quantity. So it will be equal to price. But here, because the prices are declining as we increase the quantities, or as we, if you want to increase the quantities, we need to reduce the price. Marginal revenue from additional units will be lower. Yeah? What's her name? Very busy. Alexia, busy. You know the rules. I mean, I usually relax a lot of the rules, but then you have to stop. You know, take a few seconds to look at whatever it is. You know, it may have been noisy. It should be time to spend all your lecture. Yeah? Last 5 minutes you've been looking at this. I don't really require, I don't have the rules in what part I usually for university rules, and that's probably a bad thing on some of the students. But then imposing rules also doesn't keep them motivated. Because if you be imposing rules or you are being told what to do, then I don't know if that helps at all, you probably don't like it. That's why I allow you to look at your, very quick look at your notebook, the screen, but not distract yourself completely away. Okay? And you know, every time I go to interviews for an intro, they tell me, how do you control the classroom? They ask me, and they want to hear from me. I tell them that I let the students decide. Of course, the rules stay as rules, but then students shouldn't be repeating the same distractive actions. They shouldn't be preoccupying themselves with all this unnecessary, very short-term social networking. You know, you have time. You know, you only spend here 1 hour and 20 minutes. Beyond that, you have a whole day. So please pay attention to this. It's for your own benefit. And once you get that A, in the end, you'll be very satisfied with your own performance. I can give F's and E's depending on performance, but it's up to your performance. I mean, it's up to you to do well, not to me. And I usually don't tweak the numbers. I don't curve the grades. I leave it as they are. I won't change anything. It looks like you're out on the cases. Lectures, I mean, teaching the students told me, not from this group or in Richmond. Sorry, Kensington. They tend to pressurize the teacher to curve the grades. That doesn't happen. So let's focus, let's learn. If you don't understand, ask. You and me as well. Okay, so we have these curves. One with a steeper slope, one with a higher slope, flatter slope. AR is average revenue. But we said, okay, why did we say one revenue is steeper?
Because you're selling additional units. You're selling additional units at a low price.
Yeah. So additional units bringing in lower margin revenues because we are having to reduce the price. Yeah, we are also able to control the prices, influence the prices. But in the first case, it was flat, yeah, horizontal line. At £5, we can sell as many as we want. As a result, our marginal revenue is always £5. Extra units we can sell at £5. All extra units. But with this market structure, to sell additional units, we have to reduce the prices, which means marginal revenue will be lower. Yeah, from before. Okay, than before. Than the previous amounts. I'm sorry, than before. Okay, how does it look in terms of total values? So we looked at average and marginals. The total values, then the total revenue will be a parabola, but convex. Increasing, peaking, and start declining, yeah? So by looking at this, you can see that the maximum revenue can be achieved between selling by selling 4 and 5 units. Beyond these units, margin, the total revenue will be sloping downwards. We know why, right? I'll go back to that original graph, and this is because of that point there. You see, up to a point between 4 and 5, additional units were bringing positive additional revenue. And beyond that point, after 4 units, the additional units are bringing negative revenue. So if you superimpose that curve, that parabola curve, it will be peaking at this point, maximizing, reaching its maximum at this point. Now, it will become a bit more clear in the next few slides. But for now, I want to relate this to something we covered in week 3. Remember elasticities? Remember them? We will be covering that as well in the test. Remember, demand was more elastic at the high prices, somewhere in the middle, unit elastic, and then at low prices, it will be inelastic. That's the case here. It will have the unit elasticity at point where the marginal revenue crosses the x-axis. At high prices, demand is elastic. We discussed that before. Remember, we calculated elasticity at between 2 high prices and then between 2 low prices. Yeah, at low prices, slight increase in price, we still keep buying it. But when the price is already high, increasing the price further means losing a lot of more customers. Think of mobile phones. They're already £700. If they put the price by £50 extra, £750. Not many people will buy. But think about them when they are actually £100. Even the price is £150, it's still cheap, isn't it? The same mobile. So let's buy more. Okay, so that's how we relate them to this marginal curve. It looks like revenues will be lower, or negative even, as we sell more and more. Now, in terms of the curve, total revenue curve, unit elasticity is achieved at the maximum point. And beyond that point, the demand will be inelastic. Up to that point, demand will be elastic. When demand is elastic, we can reduce the price and sell more. Remember? The price is already high. By reducing the price, we can attract more customers. Imagine iPhone is now 700, but it's now 500. Decline of iPhone price from 7 to 500, something that was already so much expensive, but now because of reduction, it became a little cheaper. I would see a lot of demand for it. Yeah. So we can increase revenue by reducing the price when the demand is elastic. But if we keep reducing further, demand becomes inelastic. I mean, we don't buy it anymore because it becomes a necessity. It's something like necessity. You think of salt. It's inelastically demanded. Yeah, we have to buy it basically for day-to-day consumption. Bread. Reducing the price won't stimulate more sales. We still buy a loaf of bread or 2 maximum a day. We don't want them to be, left over, wasted. Yeah. Okay. Hopefully it's clear. We can relate these concepts to practice. Now, profit maximization. So we talked about when the revenue hits its maximum. That's when the marginal revenue crosses the x-axis. Now, how about profit maximization? Many firms do not strive or do not make a goal or objective to maximize revenue. They may want to maximize profit instead. However, large retailers usually want to maximize revenue. They want numbers, good numbers. That's why they do a lot of sale. But if you look at boutiques, they don't have sale. If they do, they have very few promotions. Boutiques usually are high margin businesses, so they usually try to maximize profit and sell less. Now let's look at this case here. Profit maximization. Now, if you put together revenue and cost curves, we work out when the profits come, at which point profits are maximized, or we can figure out what the rule is for profit maximization. There are two methods of determining the maximum profits. We'll start with the first method, that's called using total curves, and then we use marginal curves. So let's look at the total curves first. And this table just calculates all the variables that you have on the heading. Just an introductory point or setting the stage. We have quantities starting 0 to 7, between 0 and 7 units, at prices which are equal to average revenue. Now notice that when the quantity is 0, when the price is £9, I should say, price should really be the first column. I misplaced them. When the price is £9, the units that customers demand is 0, highest price, right? But as the prices are reduced, you will see that the quantities are increasing. So this is exactly the demand curve that we discussed. But we call them now average revenue rather than just calling negative demand. Next, the total revenue then is the product of price and quantity. Marginal revenue, as you know, the difference between revenue at higher units and then lower units. Yeah, so you look at this. 8 minus 0 gives us 8 marginal revenue. So selling the first unit gives us highest revenue. Selling the next unit gives us £6 extra. So marginal revenue is declining over time. So marginal revenue is the revenue from additional unit sales. Total cost. Well, total cost is, what's total cost? How do we calculate total cost usually? Yes. Huh? He was good. Sorry.
Fixed cost plus variable cost.
Fixed cost plus variable cost. But in this case, we don't have the details, so accept them as total cost. Just given. Yeah? We are not given the variable and fixed cost yet. I'm just asking for definition. What's total cost? Yeah, they are not given in the graph, so I see some students are looking and trying to understand where the variable and fixed costs are. They are not given there. But let's take them as total cost as given, as it is. Yeah, it's calculated on the back of the envelope, for example. Right, that's total cost. Now the average cost is the total cost over quantity. Right? So that's the next column that we have. And marginal cost is then the cost of additional unit again. So all the marginals are the result of additional units. Whether it's revenue or cost, they are just the result of the cost or revenue of additional units. Now, total profit, we know that is the difference between total revenue and total cost. That's total profit. Before I go for average profit, I just want to ask you a quick question, which I should have asked earlier when I asked you for definition. But notice that we don't sell anything. First row, we don't sell anything, but we still have total cost of £6. Why is this? Atul, let me ask Atul because he was. Why do you think? Why the total cost is 6 instead of 0 when we don't sell anything? Isn't it that when you don't sell, you don't incur any costs?
Is it something to do with overhead costs? You've got maybe already overhead costs.
Overhead costs, yeah. Okay.
Kind of, isn't it like fixed costs?
Fixed costs, yeah.
Variable costs is very low.
Okay. That's because we are renting some machine probably, yeah. Even if you don't produce, you have to still pay the rent. Maybe the factory space is being rented, even if you don't produce. Remember last week what we said? Fixed costs do not vary with the amount of production. It's the variable cost that varies. So for a start, as we start producing, then the variable costs add up. So fixed costs are fixed. If you subtract 6 from 56, it gives us 50 for variable cost. Because fixed cost is always 6, so it's in there. Yeah, if you remove 6 from these costs, you get the variable cost. Yeah, it's a short run. So that 6 remains as the fixed cost in all units. If you subtract 6 from 36, you get 30 as a variable cost, 19 as a variable cost. So fixed cost is fixed, £6 from start. Clear?
But the marginal cost, how did you get the 4?
It's the difference between two costs in two total costs. Marginal cost is the cost of additional unit. It's the difference between, for example, here, actually, should be marginal cost right here. Let me have a look. It's counting the marginal cost is the cost of additional unit. So fixed cost is always cost fixed, isn't it? That's a good point. Thanks for bringing that up. The additional unit will cause the total cost by the amount of variable cost. So that £4 is the addition to the existing fixed cost, makes it £10 now. Does that make sense now? Which I ignored that point in the morning class, so luckily I'm recording it again, so I'll upload this version now. Okay, did you understand why marginal costs are different? We talked that marginal cost should be the difference between two total costs. So in that case, 10 minus 6 is 4, isn't it? And then 12 minus 10 is 2. That's because additional unit is causing that variable cost is causing that additional unit cost, yeah? To increase. Total cost is only being increased by the variable cost because fixed cost is fixed. Clear, hopefully? Yeah? Alright, so average profit then is the profit divided by the thing, quantities. Now let's see how they behave using the first method. And we'll try to find profit maximizing output. Economists are interested in finding the profit maximizing output level. They are not interested in the absolute profits, but when we will maximize our profit and at what point, when should we stop producing more? That's the question we are interested in. Now we know that total revenue curve will be that upside down parabola, convex parabola, or concave down. I think in America they use concavity, up and down, right? So, and then this is our total cost, behaving the usual way. And then we have our profit in green curve. Now, the profit is positive between these two branches only, the output branches. So producing one unit is giving us a loss. Second unit gives us some profit. Third unit gives us profit. Fourth unit gives us profit. Beyond that, we start incurring losses. That's again the case of diminishing marginal returns. Marginal cost becomes negative. But at the moment, ignore marginals because we're dealing with totals. Now, that's the region within which we have to look for maximum profit. The maximum profit is achieved at this point. So that's this point here, D, C. Let me put this all, then I'll come back. Where the gap between total revenue and total cost is the highest. Yeah, this gap here is the same gap as that one there. Yeah, the difference between the total revenue and total cost gives us the profit, and naturally we want to have the maximum gap between them. Yeah, if you put it down on this board, the formula that we have for profit, that we all know, is total revenue minus total cost. And we would like to have the maximum gap between them. And in graph, that looks like it's at point 3. So when we produce 3 units, that's when we achieve the highest profit. Clear? And the profit curve on its own, obviously this is a zero line, is negative, positive, but as we add more input, our output increases, but then that's where we should stop. Beyond it, we lose profitability. I hope this is clear. This is the method 1 using total curves. Yes, Abdul? I see you stuck looking at your I saw you last time as well when I asked you the question. Any question on totals? No? Now, method number 2, where we look at units, per unit costs and per unit revenues, not totals. We know that from last time, this is our marginal cost, U-shape, and then marginal revenue from today, and we just make a statement here, and that is, we will achieve the maximum profit at a point when marginal cost is equal to marginal revenue. So that statement is important now. Let's see how it is so important, or how it makes so much importance in this case, or becomes so much important in this case. We can see that by superimposing other curves now. Oops, I'm going back actually, sorry. Let's impose average revenue curve. Remember, average revenue curve was demand curve. Now let's superimpose average cost curve. Now, one quick point here. Profit per unit is average cost minus average revenue, I should say. Average cost. Keep this in mind, guys. This is important. Pay attention. Profit per unit. We're dealing with per unit profits and costs now, not totals. Profit per unit is average revenue minus average cost. And the objective is to maximize the gap between the two. Just like we did earlier. Now notice there, where is the maximum? What is the maximum output? Where the average revenue and average distance between average revenue and average cost is maximum. So you have the average cost here and average revenue here. The lines, the green line and the blue curve. It turns out that maximum point is where marginal revenue and marginal cost cross, where they are equal. Students really tend to ask, why, if the costs are equal to the revenue, how can you have maximum profits? The idea here is not that marginal revenue should always be equal to marginal cost. The idea we're looking at is, we're looking at the point where the distance between the two is the highest. And when you draw them in curves, it turns out to be that point, that purple point there, which gives us the highest revenue, as highest profit. Remember, the objective was to find the maximum distance between the two, average revenue and average cost. And we apparently can find it at this number of units, at this output level, where marginal revenue is equal to marginal cost, and then the distance between this and this 2 points is the highest. Yeah? And obviously then, 3 times the distance, 6 times minus 4.50, gives us the profit. Maximum profit. Right? So we shouldn't really go, we should keep in mind that that's the rule, that marginal revenue equals marginal cost. So in the test, if it asks you, why should firms produce at, if a firm aims to maximize profits, why should they produce at output level whereby marginal revenue equals marginal cost? Then you have to be able to explain that in some ordered essay with some graphs, yeah? And I hope this was clear to you. The marginal revenue, marginal cost rule, equality of marginal revenue and marginal cost rule stems from this fact that at that point, the distance between the two average revenue and average cost is the highest. Keep this. This is important. Once you may not remember this, but what you need to memorize is the shape of the curves and where they cross. That's it. That helps you a lot with this assignment. Exam. Whether it's test or final, you will have this sort of question. One is qualitative, one is quantitative. Okay, as I said, it would be very quick lecture, and it is very quick lecture because we didn't have many questions. With the morning we had 10 minutes left because of the questions, and for some reason I hope it was clear. Sometimes it's also the case that when students do not understand, they don't ask questions. And also, they also ask questions when you do not understand as well. It's just very difficult to judge whether you understood it or not. So you have to tell me. If not, then you can go back to that slide and then you do that sort of thing. Was clear? Then, if you do not have any question on your essays and anything else, you will free to go. It's a bit too early. Let me do that next first, if you do not have questions. I was planning to spend a bit more, but it is quick with this group.